Welcome back to SugarBee, the channel where Heartland fans come to uncover every hidden clue, every emotional twist, and every moment the show doesn't want you to miss. Today, we're diving into one of the most intense episodes of the entire season, Heartland Season 19, Episode 8, because this episode isn't just emotional, it's explosive. A wolf attack that leaves the ranch shaken. A shocking first kiss between Dex and River that changes everything we thought we knew about them. And an unexpected reunion that forces Lisa to face the pain she's been running from for years. This is the episode where Heartland stops playing sci-fi and starts rewriting the future of the ranch. Let's break it all down. Heartland Season 19, Episode 8 begins, not with chaos, not with action, but with a silence that feels wrong. It's the kind of silence that hangs heavy in the air, the kind you notice only because it feels unnatural. The sky is caught in a dim, early morning haze, too dark for comfort. Too quiet for a ranch that usually wakes with the cheerful noise of life. Even before the characters appear, the landscape tells us that something is off. Amy is the first to move through this uneasy stillness. Her morning routine is familiar: feeding, checking the horses, warming up the barn, but today, she's different. She pauses more often, her eyes drifting toward the tree line as if the wind is whispering a warning only she can hear. When she runs her hand along a horse's neck, the animal flinches, ears twisting toward the forest. Amy frowns, brushing a piece of straw from her coat, trying to convince herself it's nothing. But her body language betrays her. She feels it. Something is wrong. Inside the house, the energy is no lighter. Jack steps out onto the porch, with coffee in hand, expecting the crisp freshness of a normal Heartland morning. Instead, he's met with a low, unsettled wind and a quiet so deep it almost hums. Jack isn't someone who panics. Decades on the land have taught him to trust his instincts, and right now, those instincts are telling him the land is tense, alive, listening. He stands there longer than usual, his gaze fixed on the edge of the ranch, not moving, not speaking, barely even blinking. It's not fear. Jack rarely fears anything. It's awareness. A deep old rancher's awareness that something in the natural order has shifted. He sips his coffee, jaw tight, eyes narrowing at the faint movement between the distant pines. But he says nothing. Not yet. Meanwhile, even the ranch dogs act strangely. One paces near the barn door, stopping to stare into the trees with a low growl rumbling in its chest. Another whines softly, tail tucked, refusing to wander far from the house. These aren't behaviors the Heartland crew ignores, but they also don't overreact. After all, the wilderness is full of surprises: birds, deer, coyotes. But today, these signs don't feel random, they feel connected. As Amy walks from the paddock to the barn, the camera pulls wide, showing the sweeping ranch under a sky that looks like it might storm, even though the weather forecast promised sun. The wind picks up, carrying a sharp, unfamiliar chill through the fields. A loose gate creaks, a distant branch snaps. Amy stops walking. The horses freeze. Even the dogs go silent. It's a beautifully crafted moment, still but full of electricity. It tells the audience without words that this episode is not like the others. Heartland is usually warm, safe, predictable. But Episode 8 breaks that pattern. The land is restless, the animals are alert, and the characters feel a threat they can't identify. Something is approaching. Something is watching. Something dangerous is already on the ranch, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As the day stretches on at Heartland, the tension isn't only coming from the shadows around the ranch, it's coming from two people who can't seem to look at each other without something sparking. Dex and River's storyline, already complicated, begins to heat up in Episode 8, faster than even the fans expected. Their very first scene together sets the tone. River is focused, trying to get through her tasks with her usual calm precision. But Dex shows up with his stubborn attitude, that teasing half-smile, and a comment that immediately gets under her skin. It's not outright hostile, but it hits the exact nerve she tries so hard to protect. She fires back, sharp and direct, but Dex doesn't retreat. He steps closer to close and, suddenly the air between them thickens. What starts as irritation quickly becomes something far more intense. Their energy shifts, their rhythm changes. Their conversations become quick, clipped, charged, and the thing is, they both feel it. River tries to hold the line. She keeps her posture stiff, her tone professional, her emotions tucked away like they always are. She treats Dex like a complication she refuses to acknowledge. But Dex, he thrives in the tension. He pushes her buttons on purpose. He tests her, challenges her, teases her, all with an expression that suggests he knows exactly what he's doing, and maybe she knows it too. Every time they cross paths, there's this electricity, silent but sharp, undeniable but dangerous. It's in the way River avoids his gaze for a second too long. It's in the way Dex watches her walk away with a look he'd never admit to. It's in the way they talk too quickly when they're angry, and too softly when they're not sure what to say. The rising tension around the ranch only makes their connections stronger. The unsettled horses, the strange wind, the eerie stillness, they all seem to heighten the emotions between them. It's as if fear sharpens attraction, and danger brings buried feelings to the surface. Even the camera work plays into this growing storm. When Dex and River argue, the shots hold just a little longer, capturing the flicker of emotion behind their eyes. When they stand near each other, the background quiets, making the space between them feel louder. When they touch accidentally or not, the moment lasts just a split second longer than it should. There's a scene in the middle of the episode where River drops a tool, and Dex bends to pick it up at the same moment. Their hands brush. Nothing dramatic happens. No dialogue. No music swell. Just a brief, breathless moment where they both freeze. River's eyes widen. Dex's smirk softens into something real, something he wasn't prepared to show. This is the turning point. The moment where irritation evolves into awareness. Where denial turns into a spark neither of them can put out. By this point, the audience knows what's coming. This is the quiet build-up to the moment fans have been waiting for, a moment that will rewrite their dynamic, shift their storyline, and force both Dex and River to face the truth they've been avoiding. The line between love and conflict isn't just thin, it's on fire. While the rest of the ranch feels alive with movement, horses being saddled, tools clanking, and conversations buzzing in the background, Lisa is trapped in a completely different world. A quiet world, a heavy world. One where her mind keeps drifting to places she doesn't want to revisit. On the outside, she moves with the same grace everyone knows her for. But this time, something feels off. Her shoulders are a little stiff, her smile a little forced, and her eyes give everything away. They hold a weight that fans immediately recognize, a weight Lisa has carried before, but tried so hard to bury. Jack notices it first, as he always does. He watches her across the barn, taking in the way she hesitates before answering people. The way she lingers when she thinks no one is looking. He walks over, voice soft, hoping to ease whatever storm might be forming inside her. But Lisa dodges. She gives him a brief smile, tells him she's just tired, and quickly spins the conversation back to work. Anything but the real issue simmering beneath her calm exterior. Yet Heartland fans know Lisa well. She's a woman who has endured heartbreak, loss, and lifelong regrets. So when she begins to distance herself, avoiding certain rooms, skipping meals, walking away from conversations, it's clear something deeper is unfolding. The camera follows her through these quiet moments, each one revealing a crack in the mask she usually wears so perfectly. One scene shows her alone in the loft, holding an old photo she tries to tuck away before Jack walks in. Another moment has her staring a little too long at a letter on her desk before shoving it into a drawer. She pauses, breath unsteady, as if just touching it reopened wounds she believed had healed long ago. These moments aren't loud. They're not dramatic, but they're powerful. They speak of a woman trying to hold herself together while her past, something unfinished, unresolved, begins pulling her apart from the inside. And the heartbreaking part. Lisa doesn't want to burden Jack with it. She loves him too much to drag him into this. So she puts on her brave face. She smiles. She tells him everything is fine. But Jack knows better. He watches her walk away one evening, noticing the way her hand trembles ever so slightly. He stands there, hat in hand, torn between giving her space and refusing to let her face whatever this is alone. Meanwhile, the audience feels the tension building. We know what Heartland does best: slow emotional burns that explode into unforgettable payoffs. And everything about Lisa's storyline this episode screams that a major moment is coming. A reveal, a reunion. Something from her past, someone from her past is about to step back into her life. This isn't just a subplot. This is the start of one of the most emotional arcs Heartland has delivered in years. The tone of the entire episode changes the moment Chapter 4 begins. Gone are the warm sunrise visuals and everyday ranch routines. Instead, Heartland shifts into quiet suspense, the kind that creeps under the audience's skin before anyone on screen even speaks a word. It starts with the animals. The horses, usually calm under Amy's steady presence, begin acting restless. They toss their heads, paw at the ground, and refuse to settle even when Amy runs a gentle hand along their necks. Shadow, a sensitive gelding, refuses to go into his stall, watching the tree line with wide, anxious eyes. Cattle in the far pasture begin grouping more tightly than usual, moving as if guided by some invisible instinct to stay together. Even the dogs, usually playful, barking at anything and everything, start growling toward the dark edges of the forest, tails low, ears pinned flat. Something is wrong. The audience feels it before the characters say a word. The cinematography plays a huge part here. The camera lingers on the silent trees, not moving, but somehow watching. Twigs snap in the distance, shadows drag across the ground. A glint of eyes flashes for half a second before disappearing behind the brush. Amy is the first to truly sense it. She steps outside, squinting toward the trees, the wind brushing her hair as if carrying a warning with it. The air feels different, heavier, thicker, charged with something she can't name. Spartan shifts uneasily beneath her, snorting softly. She whispers, "Something's out there." Jack joins her, but even he doesn't see anything, just the dark blur of the forest swallowing the afternoon light. But the audience, they've already seen the quick cuts, a shadow moving low, a shape slipping between the trunks, a tail disappearing behind a log. Heartland builds this tension with masterful precision. No loud music, no dramatic lines, just the steady, unnerving feeling that the ranch is being watched, hunted. Even the background characters pick up on it. Katie pauses while feeding her horse. Parker stays unusually quiet as she walks around the barn. Tim dismisses the animal's behavior as coincidence. But his voice lacks conviction, and then comes the eerie silence. The birds stop chirping. The wind stops rustling through the trees. The ranch falls into a stillness so unnatural that even the audience holds their breath. The storm isn't coming. Noche Chapter 4 makes it terrifyingly clear. The storm has already arrived. They just haven't seen its teeth yet. Just when the ranch settles into a deceptive calm, just when the characters start to think maybe it was nothing, the world explodes into chaos. It happens fast. Too fast. A low growl echoes from the tree line. The dogs bark in unison, sprinting toward the fence. Horses scream, rearing back in fear. And before anyone can react, an entire pack of wolves bursts from the forest. They move like shadows, swift, deadly dot. Amy shouts, grabbing Spartan's reins to keep him from bolting. Jack sprints toward the barn, grabbing whatever he can, a shovel, a rope, anything that becomes a weapon in a moment like this. One ranch member, Katie Parker, or maybe even a hired hand, is suddenly cornered, frozen, caught off guard near the hay bales as wolves circle closer, teeth bared. The camera gets tight on their terrified eyes. The moment is raw, real, and immediate. Heartland doesn't exaggerate the violence. It keeps everything grounded. Wolves aren't monsters, but they are predators. Desperate, hungry, determined. Horses thrash wildly in their pens. Dogs bark until their voices break. Amy screams for help, and Jack, fearless as ever, charges toward the danger. Without thinking twice, there's chaos in every direction. A wolf snaps near Amy's leg as she shields Spartan. Jack swings the shovel with everything he's got, yelling loud enough to scare off two of them. Parker runs for help, shouting for Tim, who races in with a rifle but hesitates to fire, not wanting to hit anyone. Every second feels like it stretches forever. The audience's heart pounds with the characters. The editing is fast, the sound design sharp, every breath heavy with panic. One wolf lunges for the ranch member, trapped near the fence, barely missing their arm before Amy yanks them away at the last possible moment. Another wolf jumps onto a hay bale, its snarl echoing across the ranch, and then just as suddenly as it began, the attack stops. A whistle from the forest, a howl. The pack retreats as quickly as it arrived, disappearing into the trees like smoke dissolving into the night. Silence crashes down. Everyone is shaken. Amy's hands tremble. Jack leans against the fence, catching his breath. The dogs whine quietly. Even Spartan stands frozen, muscles stiff with fear. No one says a word, because they all know the same truth. This wasn't just an attack. It was a warning. And the ranch will never feel the same again. In the wake of chaos, emotions crack wide open. The wolves may be gone, but the adrenaline still pulses through every character, especially Dex and River. What began as tension earlier in the episode now has nowhere to hide. They cross paths near the barn, both shaken, both exhausted, both far too raw to pretend anymore. River confronts Dex first. "You could have gotten yourself killed," she snaps, her voice trembling between anger and fear. Dex fires back. "I was protecting everyone. What did you expect me to do, just stand there?" They step closer without realizing it. Their voices rise. Their breath quickens. Every emotion they avoided, denied, buried now spills out in a rush. River's hands shake as she wipes her face. You can't keep doing this. You act like nothing scares you. But that's exactly what scares me. Dex takes a step forward. He's still breathing hard, his shirt slightly torn from the chaos. What scares me is you thinking I don't care. Silence. A charged, electric silence. Their faces are inches apart. Their anger melts into something deeper, heavier, undeniable. Their eyes lock. Dex's full of frustration and longing. River's full of confusion and emotion. She can't hide anymore. She whispers. This is a bad idea. He whispers back. Probably. And then it happens. The kiss. Soft. Not gentle. Not cinematic. No, this kiss is messy. Fueled by fear and adrenaline and everything they didn't say for weeks. River pushes him back against the barn wall. Dex pulls her closer. Their breaths mix. Their hands shake. Their emotions spill everywhere. It's not romance. It's release. The moment fans have waited for. Not perfect, not planned, but absolutely explosive. When they finally pull apart, both are breathless. River steps back first, stunned by what just happened. Dex tries to speak but can't. Everything has changed, and they both know it. Their story is no longer a slow burn, it's a wildfire. Heartland shifts gears again, transitioning from adrenaline to deep emotional storytelling, the kind only this series can deliver. Lisa receives unexpected news earlier in the episode, but now we finally see what she's been avoiding. A truck pulls into the ranch slowly, hesitantly. Lisa freezes the moment she sees who steps out, a person from her past. Someone tied to the pain she's been carrying all episode. Someone she loved, or lost, or left behind. Her breath catches. Her hand trembles. She tries to step back, but Jack gently rests a hand on her shoulder, grounding her. The reunion unfolds quietly, painfully. There are no dramatic speeches, no shouting, just two people facing years of buried emotion, regret, guilt, longing, apologies that were never spoken. Tears fill Lisa's eyes as memories flood back. She tries to stay composed, but it's impossible. The person stands before her, just as vulnerable, just as broken. They talk. They cry. They let years of silence unravel between them. Jack doesn't interfere. He stays nearby, offering his presence like a warm, steady anchor. His role here isn't to fix Lisa, it's to give her space to heal. And she does. Slowly, painfully, beautifully. This reunion not only reveals the source of her earlier sadness, gives her closure, it gives her peace. For the first time in a long time, Lisa breathes without the weight of her past pressed against her chest. This moment will stand as one of Heartland's most emotional scenes in years. When the dust settles, Heartland returns to a quiet, reflective tone, but this quiet isn't peaceful, it's charged with the weight of everything that's happened. Amy stands outside with Spartan, running a hand through his mane as she processes the attack. She knows the wolves will be back. She feels it in her bones, the way animals feel storms long before they hit. Jack stands at the fence line, staring into the trees. His silhouette against the dimming light is strong but troubled. He's been through countless ranch crises, but something about this attack feels different, more organized, more bold. He whispers to himself, "We'll be ready next time." Dex and River avoid each other entirely. Their kiss still hangs between them, too intense to ignore, too confusing to address. Dex keeps busy in the barn. River stays with the horses, but every time they walk past each other, they tense up, unsure what the kiss meant, or what comes next. Lisa sits with Jack later that night, wrapped in a blanket, looking lighter than she has all episode. The emotional reunion healed a part of her she didn't realize was still broken. Jack takes her hand gently, and for the first time in days, she smiles a real smile. Around the ranch, everyone moves a little slower, a little quieter. The sense of safety they once took for granted has cracked. The forest no longer feels distant. The shadows no longer feel harmless. Amy looks up at the darkening sky. Everything's changing, she whispers. And she's right. Episode 8 ends on a subtle but powerful note. No big music swell. No dramatic cliffhanger. Just a ranch reshaped, stronger, in some ways, more fragile in others. The storm passed, but its marks remain. And Heartland Season 19 is clearly heading into deeper, darker, more emotional territory than anyone expected. The characters move through their morning routines, but tension flickers beneath the surface, especially with Amy, who keeps getting caught in moments of worry she tries to hide. Jack senses something is off too, but he handles it the way he always does, with silence, sharp eyes, and short, protective comments. He doesn't know the danger yet, but he feels it. This early tension is important because it sets the tone for the three major storylines of the episode. The wolf attack, the kiss between Dex and River, and Lisa's emotional reunion. Each moment grows from the quiet unease planted in these opening scenes. Like the universe is whispering that change is coming. As the episode moves forward, small warning signs begin to appear. A dark shadow near the tree line, horses suddenly lifting their heads to stare at nothing, a strange sound carried by the wind. These moments are brief, easy to miss, but together they build the sense that the ranch isn't as safe as it usually is. Even during normal conversations about training schedules or family matters, the camera keeps cutting back to the ranch grounds, reminding us that something is moving closer. This slow tension fits Heartland's storytelling style, but Episode 8 uses it in a stronger, sharper way. It makes the viewer feel nervous long before the danger actually arrives. At the same time, the episode plants early seeds for the Dex and River storyline. Their interactions feel sharper, filled with frustration, loyalty, attraction, confusion, and something unspoken. Every time they cross paths, the energy between them cracks a little louder. They argue. They avoid eye contact. They talk too quickly or too carefully. Even the smallest moment feels charged, building toward something neither of them understands yet. This isn't just friendship. This isn't rivalry. This is a slow emotional storm waiting for the right moment to break. While danger and romance build in the background, Lisa's emotional weight begins taking shape. She appears distracted, quieter than usual, disconnected from the people around her. She avoids certain conversations, gives short answers, and looks away as if hiding an old memory she doesn't want to face. The writers make sure her tension feels different. It's not fear, it's not anger, it's old pain resurfacing. Even Jack notices it. He doesn't push her, but he watches her closely, trying to understand what's haunting her. These early hints prepare the audience for her tearful reunion later, making it clear that something deeply personal is coming for Lisa. Together, these subtle moments create an episode alive with hidden pressure. The air feels heavier. The camera lingers longer than usual. Characters talk, but they don't say what they truly feel. Even the land seems restless. Everything is building quietly, slowly, but powerfully toward the three events that will define the rest of the season. Nothing in this episode happens by accident. Every small detail leads to something bigger. This is why Episode 8 feels like a turning point. A moment where the past meets the present, and every character is pushed into a situation that will change them in ways they never expected. The tension reaches its peak when the wolf threat finally erupts on the ranch, turning a peaceful day into one filled with fear, chaos, and bravery. From the start, subtle signs suggest the danger is close. The horses are unsettled, ears flicking, nostrils flaring, hooves shifting restlessly. The wind carries faint rustling through the trees, a sound easy to ignore unless you're paying attention. Amy notices the tension in the animals, but hesitates to voice her concern fully. She doesn't want to worry everyone, but the audience can see her unease in the way she keeps glancing toward the tree line, tightening her grip on the reins, or pausing mid-step to listen. Jack notices, too. His eyes narrow slightly as he scans the distance. There's a heaviness in his posture, a silent readiness, even before the wolves appear. The ranch already feels unsafe. As the sun finally sets over Heartland, the ranch looks calm on the outside, but the audience knows the truth. Nothing is the same anymore. Amy finishes checking Spartan one last time. She runs her hand along his neck, whispering soothing words, but the worry in her eyes tells a different story. Today's attack reminded her of how fragile everything is, how quickly life can shift from normal to terrifying. Inside the house, Jack sits at the table with a cup of coffee he never drinks. He's staring out the window toward the tree line, replaying every second of the wolf attack. He's not scared, not Jack Bartlett, but he is preparing, planning, and promising himself that no animal and no family member will be caught off guard again. Lisa enters quietly, still shaken but lighter than she was before. She rests her hand on Jack's shoulder, and for a moment, they say nothing. They don't need words. Their reunion earlier wasn't just emotional, it was healing. For the first time, Lisa feels like she can release the past and focus on what's right in front of her. Dex and River, however, are on the opposite side of the ranch, both trying to pretend the kiss never happened. River sits on the fence, looking into the distance, replaying the moment in her mind. Dex stands near the barn, punching a bale of hay out of frustration, whispering, "What did we just do?" They don't approach each other, but they don't walk away either. Their story has shifted, and neither knows what comes next. A cold wind sweeps across the ranch. The dogs lift their heads. The horses stir uneasily, and Amy steps onto the porch, looking toward the forest again. The camera cuts deep into the trees, dark, dense, silent, but in the very last second, a pair of glowing eyes flashes between the branches, watching, waiting. The wolves are still out there, and they're not done. The episode ends with Jack whispering, "This ranch has seen storms before, but something tells me this one isn't over." Fade to black. Heartland, Season 19, Episode 8, closes not with fear, but with a promise. Emotional breakthroughs, new relationships, new dangers lurking beyond the fence, and a storm coming bigger than anyone expects. Your audience is left thinking, if this is Episode 8, what on earth is coming next?